It's the Wednesday Wisdom Show, and you need to know what is the meaning of life, the fourth and final episode. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to part 4 in our 4-part series on the meaning of life. I hope that it stirred up questions in you and that it gave you a chance to actually take the time to be able to contemplate the kinds of questions that life usually guides us away from, how busy we are, the desires that we are chasing, the needs that need to be fulfilled, both for us and for the people around us, the speed of life and the constant distraction to things that actually are impermanent. And yet the desire that drives us, the fundamental desire that drives us, is really that question about what am I going to do and why am I going to do that and why am I here and what does doing that or anything actually serve? People are deeper than they appear. It's just that we live in an environment that doesn't really stimulate the fundamental questions and doesn't answer the fundamental needs. And so it seems very much that we're alone in this, that we're the only people who are considering such things, and it's not so. Everybody, the whole pulse of life, is constantly asking the bigger questions. And it's desire that we feel together on these basic questions are the things that are developing us as societies and as species, as solar systems, as, the larger systemic aspects of life. And yet we're focused down almost entirely to what has this got to do with me? And we got a lot of very interesting questions from people and comments, responses. So before we go on to part 4, let's look at some of the questions and let's respond to them. On part 1 of the series, we got an interesting comment from Rob Nissen. And he wrote, "Interestingly, the meaning of life can actually be stated scientifically, and yet without the right preparation, it cannot be felt or appreciated. This is astonishing. The sublime truth can stare us in the face and it'll have zero impact on people. I felt it change over time to appreciate it, but the horror is that it makes one alone, and no one will understand what you can now see. It's like Plato's cave." Yeah, Robert, that is the part of the picture that we are most deaf and blind to. There are things that we can understand, that we can feel, that we can begin to sense, especially about the way that the system is organized. It takes time and involvement and a kind of study to be able to reveal what the relationships between the different aspects of this mechanism are, how to live in them and how to work with them and how to direct them in our life. But the deeper part, the part that's hidden more deeply in the cave and that people can't hear, is that we can't do this alone. We have to establish connections between us in order for the real meaning to appear and the true wisdom to appear. Because what we're speaking about in the meaning of life is about the wisdom of connection. All life is connected. We simply don't see it. We don't feel it. But it is there. And in order to be able to sense those things, we have to involve our life in the connection with others according to that ideal of revealing a correct perception of reality. And that correct perception cannot be subjective. The correct perception, by definition, has to be objective. And unity and holistic reality and the broadest perception is expressed to humans on the human level as connection with other people. There is no other way to do it. Because awareness is shared between people. This is why we ask for agreement from other people. I will feel alone because nobody will understand what I can now see. Because we say that truth must be shared in some way. Yes, there is the individual perception of life, but in order to feel the objective truth of life, it has to be something that is acknowledged between people. It doesn't have to be actually the intellectual aspect. We don't have to agree on the points, per se. But we do have to agree that there is such a thing and that we are having a sensation. And the proof of the sensation is the care and the concern and the constant direction towards other people. I know it seems kind of like, ethical or like Pollyanna approach to life, but the expansion of awareness and the change in perception of reality only happens through connection with other people. And that means that we have to learn actually how it's possible to feel and love our friend as ourself. We have to expand our identification of the concept of self, of what is within me and what is of ultimate importance to me, to include the system of our species. If we don't have that, all we have is knowledge, and to a great degree, that's what all that the philosophers were able to take from Kabbalah, because they needed to speak to a society that was not yet ready to change perception of reality, couldn't make those changes, and were necessarily on a particular road that they had to be on, developing ego, developing intellect, and all that. But we're past that stage. Everybody knows, the current generation of new young adults knows for certain that there's nothing in that, and they're not interested in it. And our society is no longer supporting those things either. It looks like we're looking at an empty space, but that empty space is full of spirituality. We just don't know how to actually achieve love your neighbor as yourself. There is a science that allows us to do that. And if we're serious about wanting to not only know the meaning of life, but to live it out and to allow others to live it, then this is what we need to learn. It's a practical knowledge that should be gained and shared with everyone. We also got a comment from Path of Love and Truth. And I can't tell if this is a man or a woman, so I'll just say hi, Path. Thank you very much for the great introductory sentences, nice way to put it, on such a huge topic that emerged long ago within the mind and the heart of human beings, and especially nowadays when we're faced with a crisis on all levels of existence. Says, really beautiful video, thank you. Here are my answers to some of the questions, meaning the questions that were in the contemplation part of the episode. The question was, do you think there is actually a meaning to life? My answer, yes, I do, living for others. Another question, if you could speak directly to life, what would you say? My answer, thank you, nature, for being here together with others to enjoy in your gift to make me alive and to feel your hidden voice in searching for your love. For life is nothing but love given to me to share it both only together and with others. On part 3, we got this beautiful, short, and to-the-point question from Lizzie B. How can a lack of purpose be good? So in part 3, it said that the emptiness that a person feels specifically on a desire to know what the purpose of life is, how they need to change in order to align with the design of nature, that specific lack is the place in which we will eventually receive the perception or the expanded perception. It can be good because without feeling an emptiness for that, in the first place, there's nowhere for an answer or a new way of perceiving and living to enter. And specifically, even after a person has that, it needs to be expanded. Because we can't stop or correct our ego. We need to expand the ego and to learn how we can build another desire that eclipses it on top of that each time. And that desire is the one to align with nature, to think about the whole, to be connected, and to work and to think and to live for the well-being of the whole system. And that needs to expand each time. So every time that we grow, a lack of purpose appears in us, and it's a good thing. And finally, from Gisela Equilon, she commented, "Peace. I hope so. At my young age before," I think that she is not an English speaker, but she writes beautifully here. "At my young age before, I always was asking myself, why am I here in this world? Just to see and watch the bad and good situations that are happening in my surroundings? Why these big troubles in life to come and being experienced by the people? For what purpose? Just to learn of good things and to realize the importance and benefits of one's life." See, she's pointing here, this is true. She's saying that she feels now that the appearance of all of these events that seem to be bad in life are there to create a need, and through that need, an ability to perceive what is the opposite of that. What is the thing that I truly want? What is the light that's being indicated by the darkness? And she says, just to learn of the good things and to realize the importance and benefits of one's life. All of us, she says, have a special task and participation in the material and spiritual world. Let's enjoy it and maintain our life in a proper and right way of living. Mother Nature gave me a special task to do and to perform, or to reenact the main character of the divine. Nicely put. Thanks. May the journey of us in this time run smoothly and peacefully. No blood flow, no killing, no hurting, no greed, no mass destructions, no slavery, no war using deadly weapons. Instead of that, love, care, and sharing must be done for the new generation. And let us learn to do that. Let's take this out of the realm of ideas, of platitudes. I'm not saying that is a platitude. That comes straight from the heart. But it has to move from that into an actual way of living in a truly globalized world. We don't need a global economy. That will happen as a byproduct. We can't force people to think certain ways. We have to change the nature of our own intentions. So may we take this step seriously. May we learn how to do this, because it is possible to learn. And let's move to part 4, the final part of the meaning of life. The purpose of life is to provide us with the means to become aware of and then intentionally grow into an inner nature that's identical to the force that set life in motion. And the supreme pleasure of revealing a single unlimited giving force behind all sensations and events on that journey, and eventually in you, is the meaning of life. The problem is that we're built to receive everything. It's all we can do, even when we think that we're giving. But this is only true physically, because for us, bestowal can never be defined by our physical actions. Even an external act of giving is still something we receive and ultimately aim to benefit from. So the deciding factor isn't that we're bound to receive, but how we receive. The direction of the intention with which we do receive, for whom and for what. That determines both the scope of our awareness and the well-being of all the aspects of nature still waiting to be in our conscious care. Our intentions are purposely concealed from us by the ego, which is beyond tricky. Their correct use never comes to mind in this world, not even in our imagination. And the goal is not something that you can attain on your own, because you aren't and never have been on your own. The intended transformation is a collaboration, an emotional integration into the broader interconnected reality. And that's impossible to achieve through something that you or someone else invented. It has to be passed down, received and learned from those who have also received it and attained it. Genuine Kabbalah is the science of purpose, and its appearance in our lives is the milestone marking the start of the conscious stage of our evolution, the beginning of receiving what can only be called wisdom. It's a tangible offer of a hand up from the upper force with an accurate map and a method of how to invert our intention and learn to live in the next, much more caring stage of human development. Kabbalah is just a term, a name for human comprehension of nature in its totality, which is the only compulsory course in the school of life. There is great beauty, depth, and precision in it. In other words, meaning. But studying it involves something very different than the study of other things. It's not the accumulation of knowledge, though there's plenty in it to be had. It's an attainment, a direct grasp and appreciation connecting us to how everything in existence works, what motivates and brings pleasure, and how we can not only receive that delight, but be a source of it for others too. In this science, it's your transformation and the changes in your inner qualities that is the laboratory exposing nature's deepest secret treasures. Because all of nature opens to us when we become inwardly similar to it.
Is intention a higher and more influential force than material action? See if you can catch it. A friend gives you a gift. That makes them the giver and you the receiver. End of story, right? What if you receive it not focused on the gifted object, but on your friend's desire to give you pleasure? What if you enjoy because what you want is to connect to him by fulfilling his desire? Who's the giver? Who's the receiver? If he received it that way, would you experience a deep identification and perception of each other's nature? In what realm does the meaning of the event happen? On the level of the object and the action, or the level of intention? Did your shift of intention change the meaning and experience only for you, or for both of you? In this scenario, you can easily attribute a positive motive to your friend's action because you can see that something good is being given to you. Would life's intention be revealed if you could perceive the way this happens between you and nature, and that you're given this opportunity constantly, even with events that initially appear to you as bad? If you were able to respond that way, would the transformation in your intention affect the quality and meaning of life only for you? Would this change in reality happen without you?
I hope you enjoyed this series. Next week, I'm going to go back to answering the deep questions that people search for on the internet. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment.